Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli, and I'm here to talk about a thing called limerence. Most of you have probably not heard of this word. It's kind of a made-up word. The word's about 50 years old. It was coined by a psychiatrist or psychologist, and it doesn't really matter how the word came about. It kind of sounds like limerick. I will spare you a dirty limerick, maybe. If I run out of time at the end, or if I'm ahead of time, I might give you that dirty limerick. But limerence, Limerence. It's basically obsession. And I have dealt with this for about 2 months, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. I'm not going to take full blame for this, because the person that I became limerent with had a lot to do with why I became that way. Became obsessed with this person. She dove. The way I put it, I was going to say she dove into my life, but she cannonballed into my life. The swimming pool that is my life, she absolutely just cannonballed it. And I was willing to deal with the cannonball. I was willing to let her into my life and introduce her to my kids and my ex-wife, and we spent intimate time together under the same roof as those people, which was a bad idea on my behalf and a bad idea on her behalf. But limerence is looking at a human being and seeing all their good stuff and none of their bad stuff. And beyond that, you start adjusting yourself to it's hard to, I don't know why I'm not thinking of words, which I often do on this channel. Sorry, guys. It's basically you adjusting your life to her whims, not even whims, her standards. This person is very quiet oftentimes and wants a quiet man. And I should have seen that from the beginning. I'm not a quiet man. Anyone who knows me is I talk a lot, often to a fault, but it's also not a bad thing necessarily. I get my thoughts out there and let people know how I feel about things and what I think about things. And that often, and unfortunately in the way we're built, that involves talking. So that was part of it. There were a lot of things I really like about this person. She's amazingly intelligent. She's strong. She's cute. She's good at kissing. She's good at sex. But then there are a lot of things that aren't so great about her. Things that I don't want to put out here because they could possibly give away who she is, and I don't want to let people know exactly who she is. But yeah, she has a lot of faults. And when you're in a limerent state, as they call it, you will overlook those faults and only see the good qualities. And as I mentioned before, you will also try to bring out your qualities she wants out of you. And that's the really unhealthy part. I think they're both unhealthy. You got to see a human being for everything they are. And I do. That's the part of the problem is I do love her for everything she is. I am fully enamored of her, and I unconditionally love her. And there are about 10 people on the planet I unconditionally love. And so if I'm not in her life and she doesn't want to return, not just the love, but just have a connection of any kind, whether it's a friendship or a casual relationship or whatever it ends up being, that's where I've come to. And the last 2 months have been really, really tough. This started around Labor Day. We were introduced to each other, and the next 2 months were a lot of fun, and she was really into me. She's also seeing another man in a long distance relationship, and she let me know about that relationship. But she also told me things that weren't quite true. Like, she told me the cards were stacked in my favor in regards to becoming her, I'm not going to say permanent man, but becoming her boyfriend, for lack of a better term, right? The main romantic interest in her life. And that didn't happen. She saw a lot of, and this is the other part of the equation of the limerent person. Not only do they want you to improve things, they will find fault with you. And that's the big one, right? And that's where this opposite, and this whole, I don't know, this scale that becomes weighted way in her favor, and you got nothing. And it's kind of scary, because for some reason you have rationalized this in your brain that this is okay. You see that, like I say, you see all her good qualities. You want to have some of her good qualities that you don't necessarily have, which is, there are some things she's a very patient person. I'm not. Certain things that I want, but I have things that she probably wants in her life too. and I'm sorry, there's an emotional thing for me because I just came off of this. I said September, October, we were hot and heavy. Things looked like you're going to get very serious. They kind of, in my opinion, they were pretty serious. All of a sudden in November, she dropped me like a hot potato, and I still have a relationship with her. I see her, and it's hard because I said, I at least want to be friends with you, and she hasn't acted like a friend. And so it's like she's cut me loose, which is healthy in a sense for a person experiencing a limerent position or having a limerent thoughts about this other person. That's probably good, but it's also hard as hell, man. It's really hard. Even though we were only in 2 months, you wouldn't think the following 2 months would be that difficult, but it was really hard. Luckily, what you do to get out of a limerent state, and I'm not quite out of it yet, I'm realizing that today. Thought I was, but I'm still dealing with it. But New Year's is a good time to get out of this and start new things and have new attitudes and be healthy. But the other thing you need, if you're having this, is have friends, have family. My ex-wife, of all people, was like, man, she doesn't treat you that great. I was like, really? Because you're blinded. You see it, like I say, you see everything good, you see nothing bad, and in addition to that, you start focusing on your bad qualities and don't think you have anything to bring to the table. I know I'm kind of basically semantically saying different words for what the whole thing's about. Often limerence, what I found out, and this is what I wanted to get to as well, thank God for the internet. I'm neutral on the internet. You got a lot of bad shit on the internet. You got a lot of good shit on the internet, though, too. I found out what obsession is about and limerence is about, and you can go to all kinds of people, whether they're amateurs or professionals online. You can get really good information on how to deal with this and what the root problem is. And the root problem for me, not shocking, daddy issues, right? It really is. It came down to the fact that my father is a narcissist, and when you're in a horrible pattern, like when you're an addict, you don't think you're an addict. You're just, oh, I just drink every night. You might be an addict. I just do meth once a week. You might be an addict. And so when you're in a pattern, an unhealthy pattern, you're in it, and you don't see it because you're not objectively looking at it from the outside. And so I've had a 56-year relationship with a narcissistic father who tied things to love and claimed to know what love was and wanted to define it for me. And then beyond that, had love. It was like a string with a carrot with the horse, right? I'm just chasing it, trying to be this perfect man that he wanted me to be, to earn his love. Earn should never come with love, right? The word earn should never come with love, especially for a child to a parent. You love your children unconditionally. That's what you do. And if they're fucking up, you try to straighten them out, but you don't hold things over them. And my dad still does this to this day. Literally about 2 months ago, I did something wrong. I messed something up. I bring him his groceries every week. I see him a couple times a week. I bring him coffee to his assisted living, and I get him some groceries. And I'm his only kid, and his wife, acts more like his ex-wife, is in a limited capacity in his life. I guess it's a mess, and they don't tell me anything, so I got to deal with it. But I'm trying to be a good son. It's not only good for him, it's also good for me to say, hey, this guy is not a great dad, but he has done some good things for you, and you want to be there at the end for him as his son. You want to be nice and do nice things for him. But so 2 months ago, I screwed up something with the groceries. I don't remember what it was. He goes, it's all about patterns for you, John. I'm like, what pattern are you talking about? Well, when you were 17, when I was 17, nearly 40 years ago, you're going to bring up something I did when I was 17, when my brain wasn't even close to developed. My hormones are flying all over the place. I'm worried about school. I can't get laid. And you're going to bring up that I did. It was a bad thing that I did, and I'm going to admit that I did. I forged a report card, which, as most of us know, when you're 17 and you try to forge something, or 13 or whatever dumbass age you are when you try that, it doesn't go well, usually, because you're not good at it and everyone's going to know it. And so, yeah, I got caught. I learned my lesson. I was in high school, for God's sake, and he brought this up. And that's the kind of man I'm dealing with as he slowly moves towards death. And I try to be good to him. But yeah, so these are the types of patterns with a narcissist that can bring you to a limerent state with other relationships in your life. And it's real important that you get on top of it. I'm obviously not on top of it early, but I did realize this person that I was in limerence with, or not limerence with, I was limerence towards. She's not in limerence with me. She doesn't hold me on a pedestal at all. If anything, quite the opposite. Anyway, I'm closing in on 10 minutes. Maybe I'll do a part 2 of this. Maybe a narcissism and the narcissistic parent and how terrifying that can be and how damaging that is. And like I said, it's affected probably all my relationships in my life. And I had to be smacked in the face with it. Thanks to one of these videos, I got my computer in front of me. Thanks to one of these videos that helped me a lot. And that sometimes you just need to be told in plain English what it is. And that's, if you're in the bubble, like I say, you might not hear it or see it. Anyway, thanks for checking it out. This has been episode 2, and I will get back to you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.